So going off what Sarah just said, that was really useful information on the actual product. But just taking a step back, just wanted to know what part of the actual like swag story that you're selling to your current customers do you feel needs a bit more education, or have you found it quite challenging for them to understand? So, for example, like, is it the financial savings that you can get from the product, or is it understanding the environmental impact that you can, by buying the product, what kind of environmental impact you can have? So just wanted to understand that a bit more.
Sure. I think we've gone down we ended up, getting some marketing people on board, and they took us down the plastic-free route, which is great. We are plastic-free, but I think there's a huge opportunity with the waste-free and, what that means to us. And I think the timing right now, given, what's happened with the coronavirus and food insecurity and how quickly those shelves can empty and the vegetables can go, and how much we really rely on our global food market, which is, if you think of it like a supermarket, every time we throw food away, we literally are driving up the cost of food for everyone, which makes it obviously more unaffordable for especially lower socioeconomic families to afford fresh fruit and veggies. And to me, that's just so sad, because we all know that to be healthy, you need fruit and vegetables, exercise, water, sleep, all those key fundamental things. And to have one of those elements unattainable to a lot of people around the world is, to me, shocking. So a little bit more education around food waste, and then tying that in with the money they can save.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, it's interesting, you get some people that only buy the swag because they're only interested in saving the money, and then it sets them on a path where they become more thoughtful, especially around plastic. And it certainly happened with a lot of customers that said, God, I did it just to save money, but now I don't have bin liners in my bins, I don't do this, I don't do that. And you're like, wow, it's because it was such a positive experience to live plastic free. And they started realizing, wow, all this time we've been shoving everything in plastic and we didn't need it. So that sets them on a path. So for me, Kath, I'll let Kath say, because I know Kath might have a different view, but for me, the waste side of things is really pivotal. And then and the financial rewards through living this way, I think is a really nice tie-in. And then the rest all just flows on, and the sustainability, and I think that all becomes part of the conversation that you can come forward with later. But it's just those are the two things that I think really should be front and centre.
Yeah, there's two important emotions that you can really tap into. One is that disappointment and annoyance and even anger when you do look in your fridge and Christopher and see yet again rotting fruit and veg that you literally just bought 3 or 4 days ago. So you're throwing out dollars literally into the bin, which obviously then goes into landfill and doesn't necessarily compost. So there's this horrible kind of life cycle of disappointment and annoyance when it kind of directly relates into your livelihood. So there's something that we haven't really embraced there yet. And then the other part was I think the empowerment, just around having something that's not only so simple to use, but every night when you're prepping dinner, you know that you don't have to Uber Eats it, you know that you don't have to scrounge for some half edible peas or beans. You know that every night you're going to go into that Christopher and see amazingly fresh, ready to use produce. And that is huge. I think that everyone can relate to that. So it's kind of a win-win, no-brainer.
It's really cool. So it's like almost tying the purpose to actual behavioral change in your customers as well.